Hey kids, it's your dad. Back to translate more lore. You can see if you missed the last episode of my playthrough, I actually did some live translating because I found a page that was so interesting I couldn't not translate it. This was after a long, I think my longest session yet, where I actually got stuck playing because I lost track of time. This game is so good, and long story short, I'm sure you know the plot of this game if you're watching this, but I found the last key. That took a while, and then proceeded to get my ass kicked by the air to the air and die, which I didn't know was a thing, and get kind of stuck in this seeming afterlife. But the first thing I found in this afterlife was what I think is maybe the most interesting page so far, which talks about there lived a civilization of great power. They built a city, and within that city they built a palace. They held sacred the secret of the Holy Cross and understood the planar nature of reality. They ventured to the far shore and sought power from the spaces between. As is usual, an alluring old power was discovered. Fossils of self. I haven't said annealed, but I want to say it. As I was thinking about this, maybe it's unyielding visions of the future, entombed and cast into sarcophagi and buried. A lever in the canonical plane, a store of potential. Yeah, like some of this, it's written almost like scripture, or the Silmarillion is the other reference I have recently, where the prose is a little bit disjointed, almost to give it a sense of weight. A store of potential. Perhaps it is the fabled prize, the power to defy death. From that, I hypothesized that, from that and the fact that the only other fox people I've ever seen are all dead, and they all seem to be pretty pissed that I broke the seals and released the air to the air, is that we dug too deep. We toyed with the power that is the nature of reality to try and become immortal, and ended up dying and ruining the world, something to that effect. And somebody somewhere set up protection to lock away the air to the air to stop this cycle that we discovered in the last couple of translation sessions. So me releasing the air to the air is probably continuing the cycle. Not cool. I did want to make a couple of corrections. Again, I got stuck on this word. This is yield. It's not really like, again, I I'm stuck on this because annealed is a word. It's a word that I can't make sense of in this context. It's a word that means like you heat up metal to a certain point. You also can do this with glass, and let it cool slowly, and as it cools slowly, the molecules rearrange such that it becomes stronger than before it was heated. Whereas before the molecules were maybe kind of randomly arranged, they arrange in more of like a matrix that's a little more stable. So I'm not sure what that would mean in terms of visions of the future, but I literally cannot think of yield. Unless it's unyield, but then there's no ing, so it's not like unyielding visions of the future. So perhaps it just means like they had. I think I know what fossils of self mean. I think honestly, these guys kind of. This thing. Unless I translated fossils wrong. Let's check that out. That's fossils. Fossils. right? Where was fossils? Right here. F for sure. That is definitely awe. Oils. All soils. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get the gist, even if some of the words are wrong. I think the canonical plane, lever. The canonical plane, I think, is like the plane of the living. They discovered a store of potential, which I think, fossils of self, visions of the future, entombed and cast into sarcophagi, which are these are the sarcophagi, and buried. A lever in the canonical plane, a store of potential. Perhaps it is so they discovered the power to essentially trap spirits, and sorry, I was looking at fossils again, getting distracted. The ability to trap spirits in these sarcophagi and use them as soul power. There are a couple other corrections I wanted to, as I think about these things way too much. There was one. Yeah, I was looking at this. Last time we translated Shadow Oubliette, that word is right here. I kind of made the connection anyway, that between Shadow and Shadow Oubliette. I don't know how I skipped that word completely, but there we are. And then I think my favorite is, where is the page of the far shore? Sword of the Air. I realized this right after I did that video. Got the phonetics right, but this makes a lot more sense. So the other thing I've been trying to think through is, I see the word hero a lot, and I see the word air a lot, and I wonder if those are the same thing. I know ruin seekers are potential heirs, but not every ruin seeker becomes heir to the heir, but every heir to the heir gets trapped in this cycle. Ruin seekers who give up disappear, and I'm assuming end up becoming the souls that power these sarcophagi. But is hero pops up, like the hero's sword. Unless I translated that wrong and that's the heir's sword. That is definitely hero's, yeah. So this is definitely not the hero's blade. I think the sword of the heir is the hero's blade. And I felt that cuts deep. In any case, this was a fun one to translate. Oops. I'm going to put this back where it belongs, or at least up where it belongs, as page 3. And that led, I didn't screenshot it, but I did find page 2, which is like table of contents. My favorite part of that is it actually has a bunch of words in the table of contents that show up here as in the Tunic language, controls being the first one, where, man, that would have helped when I started this out. It literally was like, controls. Great. Anywho, there are a few I want to translate. What I found is, like, there is actually really good lore in some of these, and I went to these places. I went to the quarry and learned about the cathedral. I fought the boss of the scavengers. He was a jerk, but again, not as difficult to kill as these stupid white crawly dudes that split like slimes. Those guys kicked my ass over and over and over again. I'm 10 minutes in and I haven't done any translating yet. one last thought, and it's about the librarian. It hit me as interesting that he is collecting pages. But what didn't strike me about that, and this might not mean anything, but he's collecting pages of the game manual of a game that he's in. Like, I realize I'm doing that too, and you always just assume that that's sort of like, I don't know, like an above the table thing you would call it in like in D&D, where like it's meta, it's about the game, and so it's something that the developers put in for the player to find. But there is an NPC collecting these pages. Wild. It means somehow this NPC specifically is like aware of, like, depending on what pages they have, like, these are tips on how to play the game. That's freaking weird. So actually what I wanted to do, and I'm gonna see if I can do this. Yeah, I was gonna go back in my recording. I want to see what pages this dude has, because I don't know. I'm curious. You know, this talks about, his page talks about looking for the cathedral and the far shore, and I want to actually see. I'm gonna just go back and quickly check out which pages he has. Crack open those glass cases. When in doubt, throw a bomb at it. Yeah! Oh, yes! The Quarry. Fleemer's Friend, Lost Echo. Echo of Self? Okay, pausing it. Interesting. So, jumping back 5 seconds, jumping back 10 seconds. So the Quarry, that makes sense. So he is not necessarily related to the boss of the Scavengers, but they're clearly doing a lot with this power, with the Great Power. And the Swamp is interesting. I actually don't know where that is, but if I'm guessing correctly, this is the cathedral up here. So, and then this giant fox skull that says R.I.P. phonetically spelled out as R.I.P. All right, what are the other pages? Yeah, the cathedral. Oh, it's the cathedral, which totally tracks. And the far shore. The Shadow Oubliette. The key is no mere toy. Interesting. This is also the episode where I forgot to cut out the weird side things. It drove me crazy, and I think it may have driven some of you crazy. But what are you gonna do? Okay, interesting. So let's get out of this and go back to our pages. So it's really these three. And maybe... Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Cathedral. Oh no, it's not. That's not it. That's 40. This one and the far shore. Got it. Okay. So translated the far shore. I want to start here. Because I was just here. I think Boss of the Scavengers is also someone included in this area. But let's go after these pages next. I'm going to start with this. Like, he was one page away from finding the page about himself. And I guess these pages could be like in-world, an in-world thing you'd find, like a pamphlet guiding you about the quarry and, you know, different information about the people who live there in this swamp. Boss of the Scavengers. Obviously, he holds this. I know that because I found it. But, like, again, he is one page away from finding about himself and his tragedy. And, like, getting up into here, this is very clearly... I mean, this has buttons on it. So, what happens if he finds those pages? Let's start here. Boss of the Scavengers. Let's get busy. Will stop at nothing to, oops. To it's ba, right? Ah. Yep. Obtain. There's a dot there. To obtain the blue gem. E? Well, he got it. Oh, he's trying to get it. Maybe he didn't have it. It was in like a shadow field. I had no problem grabbing it. Maybe it's because I was wearing my gas mask at the time. This is... She? What is this? This she... That looks like an H. Oh, Kaz. Lang. Long? Lang. Long. Neen? What? Known? I want to say it's known. I don't know. I don't know why I got the neen there, but close. She has long known that it lies in the rooted ziggurat, but has only now entered its depths. Its costs many whammy lives, but this is okay. I gotta look at this vowel sound. Annie. Oh, Eddie. I'm looking at this. These are two symbols that have the bottom right thing and don't seem to have that non-rhotic R, which threw me off a little bit. But any price was will be acceptable. Interesting. And that is an SH, so I hadn't picked the boss of the scavengers to be she, but she was badass, I'll tell you that. Which tracks. Alright. I think I can translate the rest. Let's move this back up and take a crack at 38. So that would have been a good hint on where the blue thing was. I kind of already knew it was in the quarry. Or at least I had made a pretty educated guess that it was there. Okay. Let's read about this monastery. I always think that's wands, but it's once a place of worship. I think I've looked at this before. For the gods. Is it or? That's an F, and that's or. For the gods. Does. That you love, right? Interesting that you love beneath that's live. That's once a place of worship for the gods, does that you, no, that's a T, not a Y. The thought to live beneath. That makes more sense. It's not the, it's the. Thoughts to live beneath the whole earth. That is a very dense way to spell that. I like that a lot. It was what? On abandoned when the keep going. Cathedral. I knew it would make sense. And the cathedrals in what is that? Prisons. Oh, that's an R. What is that one? Reach. Nope. First of all, that was going to be imprisoned, and that doesn't make any sense then. Let's try that again. Why? What's in? How did I get imprisoned out of that? In... Influence reached its peak. Okay. And then there is a little candle. Alright, what do we have in the cavity? I want to learn a little bit about this miasma that they're digging up, because what it looked like they were doing was breaking, like they were mining souls, or they were mining something that maybe absorbed soul energy, like stone that absorbed soul energy, because anytime I walked by it, it would lower my maximum HP. And I'm wondering if that is like stealing my soul, although magic points are technically soul power. Anyway, let's translate. That is exposed fossil that has dented a... no. What? Is that dented? No. Yeah. Exposed fossil that has dented a... patch of local stupid local truth okay, hold on. Dented. It's a D, right? I'm not going crazy. That's a D. Uh-oh. Is it not properly parented? It's not. It's hierarchy time. Get up to page 38, sir. What does that mean? Dented a patch of local truth. T-R-U. Out of the... and that's definitely right? Alright, keep going. Maybe this will make sense as we go. Out of the... oh, this one's gonna be, that is K con oh, this is canonical plane. Dented a patch of local truth out of the canonical plane. We'll go back to that. Being near it does not what? Does not, that's oh, does not H het. Oh, no. Does not hurt. What? Being near it does not hurt, but I think it does. But does instill a terrible feeling of hopelessness. Okay, that is... I mean, that's got to be dented. And then local. Right? That is the same ul. Yep. Local, and that is truth. Interesting. I wonder what local truth is. I kind of get it in like a metaphorical way. Okay. So it's an exposed fossil. A fossil of what? Of people? Have I seen fossil anywhere else in... Like, that looks like a fossil to me. Only ghosts are permitted to enter the inner grounds of the swamp. Oh, shoot! I'm a ghost right now in the game. I have no idea where this is, but does that mean that, like, there's a place that I can only get to if I'm dead? Snap! Alright. I was feeling so lost. If you watched the last episode of my playthrough, I was obviously lost and frustrated. That was probably the most frustrating 2 hours of just about any game I've ever played, but I freaking loved it. Like, dying over and over again to those stupid white crawling things, and then, like, having no idea what's going on, being dead. But it was so intriguing, and it was so cool to be able to go in and, like, read what they were saying. It would have been so confusing if I didn't know anything about, like, if I hadn't been reading the manual. All of that would have been so confusing. And I got to a point where I'm like, this can't be, like, the end of the game. Like, I think I did bad stuff. I think I might be the baddie somehow. And I just got killed for it. Do I have to restart and do whatever the right thing is? But this gives me some hope. I didn't think that was actually the answer, but, like, it occurred to me as I was wandering around, unable to get anywhere. I just need to find how to get to the swamp. Oh, good stuff. I'm glad we're doing this. What were we doing? We were looking for fossil. That was a word that I found on page 3, that they discovered fossils of self. Unless that's vessels. That is an F. Yeah, that's an F. Fossils. Okay. So fossils is a thing. I've seen that anywhere in bad guy descriptions. Lemur. Flesh? Flesh. Maybe stripped away, but the will to fight is still... Okay, anyway, we're not translating that yet. I'm looking for fossils anywhere. I don't think so. No. Envoy. More questions and answers. Are these guys foxes? I know that the... what are they called? Oh, these guys. The Rudlings are... I don't think they're foxes because they don't have pointy faces. Goes to the soldier who has forgotten why they fight, follows orders but has no soul. Soul seems so important in this game. Champignon. This guy, apparently I wasn't supposed to kill. the dead foxes were not happy about that. Yeah, I don't see anything about fossils. Now, this question about whom am I giving payment feels even more important. This guy is big. Some say it is the power to defy death. Power to defy death. I mean, it's labeled that. Okay. I don't see fossil anywhere. I want to translate this real quick. No, focus. Focus! Too excited. Okay, moving on. Rooted ziggurat. This is where the blue key is. A house. Or strained? S-T-R-A. No, strange. That's F. Gods? Gods. Kids. Not for strange. Gods. Oh. That is the K sound, but that is the exposed by or I get O E, that's E-R-O, erosion. And what is this letter? G? Oh no. P-R, no, greed. Interesting. Ah, it didn't parent right. Get over here. Why? Oh, it did. Wait. Page 3. Oh. Page 38, please. Thank you. Interesting. Erosion and greed. Did I see this? I wonder if I translated this in game or something, because this is where I had the whole dwarves digging too deep thought. Erosion and greed. That is, where is the rooted ziggurat? It's not pointing at anything. Gun. Oh, that tells me there's a gun there. I thought it was just like people here use guns. Alright, moving on. Powerful, but uses a lot of magic. Save. Is right? Yep. Save X. X Explorer. Oh god. X. This is No. Save, explore. Save. Savvy. Nice. It's a good word. Savvy explorers. That's a long word. Like, compare this to Earth earlier, which is one character. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I realize it's a lot more syllables, but I'm still impressed by that Earth ring. Savvy explorers have been known to quest quest? I think that's quest. Quest. Yep, that's for this. Is it soon? Yeah. For this soon. Right. No. Soon after. After. There. Here. What is that? Uri. Rival. Rival. Okay. Yeah, probably should have done that. I mean, it seems really useful. Oh well. Lower miasma. This is the stuff that I want. The bottom of the quarry, not query. Bottom of the quarry will sap your will to go on. Unless please. Nope, that's not. Wait. Unless prepared. Nope. I tried. Unless P-R-E K. What is that? Precautions. That doesn't make sense. Precautions are taken. Where the or Okay, sometimes I feel really smart when I'm doing this, and sometimes I feel really stupid. That is U R urm. Urme. What? Or no. It's not this. This, right? Hold on. Oh no, it's left, bottom, and top right. Shoot. Wormers. What? Who are Is that the name of something? Armors. That is ew, right? Ew. Oh. The dots above. I don't know why the dots are screwing me up, man. Now this rumors. Nope. We're gonna go British U in there just because it feels right. Remember the rumor? Oh, sorry. Rumors that. Oh. Okay. That the air. Notice I got the right air this time. Sorry, I'm going to zoom in. This is hard to see. That the air is poisoned. Misunderstand. The rumors the air is poisoned. What is that? Understood. Close. The rumors. Where the rumors that. Hold on. Is that where? Yeah, that's where. That's air. No. Hold on. Let's see. Were, not where. Were the rumors that the air is poisoned? Oh no, this. See, they're not even, they're homonyms, but like in this language they're spelled the same. I'm just gonna get it wrong every time. I'm just gonna pick the wrong one. Were rumors that the air is poisoned misunderstood because of this miasma? What is happening? Batom, bottom of the quarry will sap your will to go on, unless precautions are taken. Oh, that's a comma, not a period. Were the rumors that the air is poisoned misunderstood because of this miasma? What are the rumors that the air is poisoned? Alright, well, that's not as exciting. I want to know what the source of the miasma is, and it does have the little gas mask item there. Okay, Quarry. So, something about these fossils. Again, I'm assuming that it's like the will or soul attached to the fossils. But it does, there is this idea of like helplessness and will to go on that relates to my HP. Powerful, but uses a lot of magic. Okay. Moving on to the swamp. Lemurs. Okay, so this is where I need to go now, and that gets me into the, I hope, the cathedral, which I've read a lot about. Cool. Okay. Lemurs. Oh, equipped. Oh, I want to make this a little bigger anyway. All right, lemurs. Equipped in what various ways the flea, that's not flea, flesh. Oh, I was translating the flesh is the flesh may be stripped away, but the will to fight is ST strong. Equipped in various ways. This goes under page 39. Let's get there. Okay. These guys don't seem to be... How dare you? These guys don't seem to be anything super special. They do look like dead... Actually, they don't look like dead foxes. They have hooved feet. Are these... These are dead somethings. They're definitely not dead rudlings, because the rudlings don't have a long face. Why the short face? Their mouths look like champignons, but they don't... But they have arms. Beneath the earth... Oh, beneath the earth are many secrets. Okay. What are these spiders? Oh, there's one of these things. Yes, I prayed at one of these things. Okay. I'm trying to look for... it looks like these guys. It looks like a dead version of this. But I don't know what these things are. These look like foxes. So... But... I guess that could be a fox skull. Well, this fox skull has ears for some reason, which is interesting. Friend! Not very friendly. Hold on, spelled that wrong. Friendly. Okay. Friend. Whoa. What is that? Distant? No. What's that symbol? A disc. It's like pointy here. What? No. What? Something's wrong. Okay. Hold on. A DIS. That's okay. This is its own thing. Okay. A dis... Why? Disquiet. Right? Disquiet. That's yeah. Okay. A disquiet. That doesn't feel right, but we'll keep going. A disquiet. Fragment. Who lives in a skull. Is that right? Yeah, a disquiet fragment who lives in a skull. And wants to taste... Oh no. Everything? Yeah. He just wants to taste everything. What's wrong with that? Is that really disquiet? Disquiet. Okay. Disquiet fragment who lives in a skull and wants to taste everything. He's not so bad. He just wants to lick stuff. Get it? Interesting. Lost Echo. This I haven't seen. These flemurs I think I saw in the tomb. An echo of self from a past ruin seeker. Okay. Whose owner gave up. Okay, we knew that the owners disappear, but their echoes of self stay. I'm gonna have to fight these, I guess. Which... Oh, hold on. That's W. Oh. Watch and listen. Carefully. Nope. Watch and listen. That's an L. Closely. Yep, that's and again. And release it from its that's G. Agony. Damn. Poor thing. Okay, so these are just monster notes. Fine. I do love that this is phonetically R.I.P. R.I.P. I mean, it makes sense given the language, but So, is this the skull of the dude who keeps selling me stuff? Is this who I'm donating coins to? Am I donating coins to the shopkeep, the dead fox thing? Oh, it's all hard to tell. Are around the cathedral, third girl, is a waste land of brave. This those who had remained to, what is this? That's a B. B to bury. Okay. Those who had remained to bury after what? Around the cathedral is a wasteland of graves. Those who remained to bury after the interesting. With the final battle are laid here. Those who had remained to bury after the final battle. So what was this final battle? Oh, there's always a but. But many are not at rest. Oh. Interesting. So there was a final battle. Oops. What was this final battle? Did this have to do with old burying ground? That makes sense. So I'm seeing, or I'm starting to make this connection between the old gods and the cathedral. I want to start translating the cathedral because what seems to be happening, again, I'm working off limited information and hopefully this will help, is that a long time ago the old gods held sway over the people, and at some point that changed, and I wonder if it's something like they worship the old gods. Sorry, I'm thinking and speculating at the same time. They worship the old gods, and then they dug And at some point, they discovered, they held sacred the secret of the Holy Cross. So this was before. Then they discovered something. They built a palace. So was this the palace? And we're calling this a quarry, but it's really ruins of an old civilization. And so this could be the palace, that they could be digging up the palace, right? So they worship the old gods, or sorry, let me think about this for a second. So they worship the old gods, then they dug deep and discovered a power, the power that is the power to defy death, potentially. And then they built this cathedral, right? And essentially wrote off the old gods. Now, there seems to at some point have been a war. And I'm wondering at first is like, what came first, the old gods or is the old gods and the cathedral the same thing? So the monastery, a place of worship for the gods thought to live beneath the earth. It was abandoned when the cathedral's influence reached its peak. So the cathedral, I'm guessing, is people who worshipped this power, the Holy Cross. Although it does seem like maybe there's three phases. There's old gods, there's Holy Cross, and then there is the power to defy death. Or is power to defy death related to the old gods? I can't tell if it's like 2 or 3 different phases of worship, but I think Holy Cross. But so this says they held sacred the secret of the Holy Cross, and then seems to indicate that at some point after they discovered an alluring old power, which is the power to defy death, which has something to do with leveraging the soul, like using the soul as a source of power. Like not your soul, other people's souls, maybe dead souls. So the old god is maybe the Holy Cross. Although, hold on. The librarian thinks the Holy Cross is found in the cathedral, so I think the cathedral is related to the Holy Cross. So I think Quarry and Ziggurat doesn't make sense, because the cathedral seems first, and the quarry is where they're digging for souls. So maybe, all right, let's try this out. The Fox people worshipped the gods that lived beneath the earth, right? At first, they lived in this monastery where they worshipped, but later their sort of religion graduated, we'll call it, to building a cathedral, still worshipping the same gods under the earth, but for some reason they went up. It makes sense that their original temple of worship would be underground, so I wonder what sent them to the cathedral. Either way, the cathedral is the old religion that has something to do with the Holy Cross. Then they found the power to defy death, and that seems to be related to digging in the quarry. And I'm wondering if this was like long buried, and then as they were digging, they came across these cavities and the miasma, and then they abandoned the cathedral. So I'm wondering then, the librarian, I thought, was kind of in cahoots with these people digging up the miasma, but maybe the librarian was actually going back to the old religion. And in reality, the Holy Cross that he's looking for resides in the far shore. And maybe the Holy Cross is the relic that I need to activate to break the curse. Interesting. Let's translate some cathedral. Actually, I'm going to call it, actually, here. It's been, if I add my pieces all together, it's just been a little disjointed because I'm trying to deal with car insurance crap right now. But not that you needed to know that, but if it's felt like there have been a couple of moments where, like, my train of thought breaks and then doesn't reconnect, it's because I keep having to answer the phone. I'm going to take a break here and get back into the cathedral. I think it's been over an hour if you add everything together. And I think man, I didn't think there was going to be a lot of lore left in these pages, but there is a heck of a lot. So, cool. I like the coffee stains on the cathedral. I want to know what the librarian was looking at. We'll do that next time. See you guys. Love you. Bye.